Tell what you're going to do as a grenade.
As a veterinarian, I will be counting the words like up, vowel, so, like, but, repeats, and other words.
Thank you for that introduction. I would now like to introduce the timer, Alana. Oh, that's next one.
Now is the time. Yeah. Well, so if you cannot, Horace, can you be the timer for this meeting? We have technical difficulties here.
Thank you. As timer, I am responsible for keeping track of time. For prepared speeches, those are typically speeches from 4 to 5 minutes. At the 4-minute mark, my background will turn green to indicate that you are 4 minutes into your speech of a 4 to 6 minute speech. At the 5-minute mark, my background will turn yellow to say you are at minute 5. And at the 6-minute mark, my background will turn red, which means you have 30 seconds to conclude your remarks. For table topic responses are typically from 1 to 2 minutes. Try to get to the 1-minute mark, but from 1 to 2 minutes. So at the 1-minute mark, my background will turn green. And then at the 1.5-minute mark, my background will turn yellow. And at the 2-minute mark, my background will turn red. Again, you have 30 seconds to conclude your remarks. Then for speech evaluations are from 2 to 3 minutes in response. At the 2-minute mark, my background will turn green. At the 2.5-minute mark, my background will turn yellow. And at the 3-minute mark, my background will turn red. Again, speakers or evaluators, you have 30 seconds to conclude your remarks at that time. And later on in the program, when called upon, I'll give my timers report. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Tosin.
Thank you for that, Mr. Horace. I would now like to call on our first evaluator, Pelastia, to evaluate Tim's speech.
Oh, before that, can we announce the word of the day?
The word of today is encroach. The definition of encroach is to gradually move or to go into an area that is beyond the usual or desired limits, or to gradually take or begin to use or affect something that belongs to or is used by someone else. For instance, he never allows his work to encroach upon his family's life.
Hello, I'm Pelastia. I'm the evaluator 1 for Tim's Project 7 speech about fast food. I'll be analyzing the way he talks, his body language, and his eye contact with the audience. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So for today, my speech will be about the topic of fast food and its effects on our society. So to start off, I'm sure all of you know what fast food is. I'm sure you've been to fast food restaurants and also have eaten fast food, maybe the past days, the past weeks, or maybe in the last month. Yesterday, I went to McDonald's, so that's fast food. I go to fast food quite often, and I like to just, indulge myself sometimes, spend a bit of money, get myself a hamburger, a drink, or something like that. But today, my talk will be about the economic impacts of fast food, the health impacts, and also the societal impacts of fast food. To start off, the fast food market is quite a big industry in the United States. In 2023, it is marketed about $750 billion. It is forecasted to have a market of about $1,030 billion in 2030. And this is about a 6% annual compound growth rate from 2024 to 2030. Next up is how, because fast food market is such a big industry, it is also a leading market in employers and employment. As fast food employs a lot of people, they also have a lot of job openings and also complications with wages. For example, in fast food, McDonald's is the leading employer of fast food, with it employing about 150,000 people in the US and 1.9 million people worldwide. And with this great amount of employees and employers, there's also the topic about having low wages and not enough benefits and working part-time or full-time as a fast food worker. And many people often say that the wage disparity between managers and workers is very big, and the treatment they get is quite unequal to many managers in some places and workers in others. And with the lower wages, many people still try to get fast food jobs, as it is an easy job and a part-time job that many people start with. If you ask 1 in 3 Americans, most people have worked in a fast food place before. Next up, I want to talk about the locations of fast food. There are many locations of fast food in the United States, as in this area here, if you go down to near the Germantown Library and go down onto the road next there, you can see there's like McDonald's, there's Wendy's, there's Arby's. It's a big chain of fast food just all grouped together. Mostly this is because it's able to entice more people to go, as in a big neighborhood, usually you'll find maybe 1 or 2 fast food locations there. And this also induces something called financial impatience, which is when people like to spend more than they can afford. And with fast food, they often offer many deals, meal deals. For example, at McDonald's, they offer about a $5 meal deal currently, which offers you a burger, a drink, small fries, and about 4 chicken nuggets for just a price of $5 plus tax, around $5.50. This, for a lot of people, would seem pretty cheap and it'd be an easy meal for them to get. While they could just spend less and go home and make their own food and have a healthier meal, many people often choose to go to fast food restaurants and buy their meal instead. This is also an example of delayed discounting and immediate gratification versus long-term benefits. So with people who like to go to fast foods rather than cooking, they're valuing current, easy, convenient food over long-term health benefits and maybe even a healthier lifestyle. So for example, going back to financial impatience, an example of this would be if you were to find $20 on the ground and you're next to a fast food restaurant, and then you're also in need of, let's say, need to contribute to your rent or something like that. Many people often might say, oh, $20 right now, instead of putting it towards my rent, which is maybe $1,000 or something, I feel like right now going to a fast food, which is right here, would be the better option, as you have $20 that can get you often a full meal, and then you still have some left over for maybe dinner or something else. But for future, if you value future benefits and then long-term goals, you would be able to save that money, that $20 that you find, and not go to the fast food. Instead, go home, make your own dinner with the ingredients in your fridge, and then contribute to your rent payments, even if it's a little bit. So next up, I want to talk about the health and economic impacts of fast food. As fast food currently is quite ingrained in American culture, it is something that many people recognize. Many children often know the icons of fast food, like Ronald McDonald, and then all the logos like the Big M and McDonald's, the Arby's logo, and then the girl in Wendy's. If you go down on any main road, highway, you often see billboards with like Big M and then multiple other fast food logos just saying maybe 1 or 2 miles away. And everybody recognizes this and they know, oh, maybe we can stop by fast food in a bit. And the fast food, overconsumption of fast food is something that has been linked to common diseases or health impacts like diabetes, obesity, and also high BMI index. And this is something that is caused when people like to overconsume fast food, which has become increasing in the past few years, as many people often like just to go to fast food. They value their convenience and taste over their nutritional value and their health benefits. So overall, the fast food industry is a very large market and it has enticed a lot of people in America, and it is encroaching on the the right word, but it is encroaching on the budgets of many Americans and also their healthy lifestyles. And in order to combat this, some companies have developed something like a barcode scanning, which gives a lot of Americans the the ingredients and also nutritional information about fast food. And this helps to educate the Americans to be able to learn what they're eating, to be able to know what's in their food, and maybe help them choose something better. But unfortunately, you can't control what everybody thinks and what they do. So ultimately, to be able to improve this global overconsumption of fast food, it is up to us and the individuals to determine for themselves whether they would like to live a healthier lifestyle or continue to pursue their taste in fast food. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for that amazing speech on fast food, Tim. I would now like to call on our second evaluator, Miss Anna, to introduce Shrika's speech.
Thank you, Postmaster. As the evaluator of Shrika. Evaluate our Shrika's icebreaker speech. I'm gonna evaluate the Shrika's already having the ability of speaking. And also, I'm going to evaluate her speech in terms of body language, the vocal variety, the organization of the speech. So next, let's welcome Shrika.
Thank you, Ms. Anna, for that introduction. Hi, I am Shrika Halaratani. I am currently 13 years old. I go to social work school and I am in 8th grade. For my icebreaker speech, I'll start off with my early years. So, if I had to describe my childhood in one word, I would use imagination. Imagination is something that we all have in our years. Maybe just creating fun games for us, thinking about stories, lying to our parents, coming up with creative excuses. That's my childhood. Then I had a little sister, and that's the same thing there. Looking after her, creating stories for her, creating games for both of us to play. And yeah, that's my childhood. Then if I had to, and then for after that is 5th grade. But I think my childhood ends at 3rd or 4th grade, and then I move on to 5th grade. 5th grade, I feel like that was a hard year because that was my year right after COVID. COVID was difficult, and then in 5th grade, I think I had a lot of social anxiety, trouble connecting with people. So, using my imagination, I would create these stories, and I think my stories are what helped me connect with people. So, in 5th grade, I had this one little storybook that I write everything in. And then I had this one friend who would ask, "Oh, what's your new story? What's your new story? Explain a little bit more." And then I found a new best friend. Moving on to 6th grade. I think 6th grade is the year I started finding myself in. In 6th grade, we had electives. So, those are basically classes you can choose yourself. I had orchestra, and then our mandatory elective was creative writing. In orchestra, I played violin. Violin is something that means a lot to me, even today. It's just a way for me to express myself, and I don't know, I like orchestra. And then for creative writing, I had to take creative writing, and creative writing was also just another way to find myself and express myself. Like just creating stories and sharing them with other people. It was just a nice way to find myself. Uh, I think that's when I started. Okay, creative writing is basically what I do today. It's the basis of everything I do today. I still enjoy writing poems. I still enjoy writing stories, and I made a lot of friends in creative writing. It just was nice being surrounded by people that you know love the same exact thing as you. Creative writing, it was just something that I found myself enjoying a lot. And now we move on to seventh grade. Seventh grade was a nice year for me. It was a lot more work than sixth grade. Sixth grade was my transition from elementary to middle school. Seventh grade was harder. They put more work on us, trying to prepare us for eighth grade. And that's just when I don't know, I just started to feel a lot of stress. And it was a hard year for me. It was my hardest year in my opinion. So seventh grade, I had a few setbacks. For example, all my friends had made it into algebra. So, and then I was the only one left back to stay into algebra. And then I was also I didn't get accepted into chamber orchestra. Chamber orchestra is basically the advanced orchestra that everybody plays in. And I had my heart set on doing that, but that didn't happen for me. And then, I don't know, just the classes were hard. It was just a hard year. So, yeah. And then, but I got through it, and now I am in algebra. I made it into algebra this year, and then I was able to get into chamber orchestra as well. So I would say eighth grade was my best year, and then, yeah, I think that's it.
All right, thank you for that amazing first icebreaker speech. As all things have a happy ending, I'm glad everything turned out fine for you. Now, moving on to our table topics by Kennedy.
Hello, thank you, Toastmaster Isaac. My name is Kennedy, and today I'll be your tabletop master. First, we have a question to Kanika. What Guinness World Record do you think you could make or beat?
I think I could be writing the most letters because I can write really fast, and then I write the most process in the class, in my opinion, and then I write also a lot of books like my sister. I'm writing also one right now, and then how fast do you write? In like 5 minutes, maybe like a paragraph. I wrote an essay one time in like 30 minutes. So,
What's the record of
Writing work.
writing it back maybe?
Next up, we have a question to Sophie. How would you explain social media to someone from the 1800s, and do you think they'd like the concept?
I would explain social media to a person from the 1800s by kind of explaining that it is a way of communication, but way faster. So imagine like if you were to write something down, you don't have to write it down, you just see it, and be like, yeah.
The next question goes to Michael. What's the most unexpected life lesson you learned from a TV show?
So I actually don't watch that many TV shows. So unfortunately, I'll have to just go from a life lesson that I've learned in life. That one of I've learned is that it's okay to push your limits, but sometimes you need to find where your limit actually is. And I discovered this through rock climbing, where there was this climb that I almost could get, and I had a beta break, or basically it's an unconventional way of doing it, where I was basically split across the wall and had to reach a hold that felt just centimeters away. And I tried this climb maybe 30 times or so, and I just couldn't get it. I kept falling over and over again, but the hole just seemed so close. Surely next time I'll get it, I told myself, but I just couldn't get it. Until one time, the last attempt I tried, I fell off and I hit my ankle awkwardly on a hold that was below. Now fortunately, I didn't break my ankle, but that really scared me because if I broke my ankle, I wouldn't be able to walk well, I couldn't rock climb, I couldn't do any of the things I loved in life. So I vowed from then on that I would push my limits, but if there is something that is too dangerous or that is truly beyond me, then I would step back, tell my ego to calm down, and use my logical mind to protect myself, because it is always better to preserve yourself for another day than to break yourself trying for something today. Thank you.
Eric, if you could have a theme song that played every single time you entered a room, what would it be?
If I could have a theme song that played every time I entered a room, it would probably be like the Batman theme song. I know, it's very mysterious. Batman. So I'd probably play like the Batman theme song.
Why? What does it say?
It's not really like there's no words. It's just like yeah, it's just like a kind of like
Excuse me, what's your name? Emma. If you could make a new holiday, what would it celebrate and how would people celebrate it?
If I were to make a new holiday, it would probably be about dogs, because those are my favorite animals. And during the holiday, we would have to visit an animal shelter and help out. And during that day, you would have to wear your clothes would have to be dog themed. And you have to eat like one. You have to eat from a bowl on the ground and drink water from a bowl on the ground too. And that would also help improve dogs' lives, because you would know how they live and how they feel, and you could treat them better.
Isaac, what's something that should be a crime but isn't?
What is something that should be a crime but isn't? Wow. So, don't quote me on this, but I believe in some countries and in some places, cannibalism is still legal. I don't know why, because I don't live in any of those places. But for obvious reasons, it should be illegal, because how would you feel if you had your best friend trying to chase after you and eat you as if they were a zombie. I wouldn't really be too happy about that. I would want that outlaw. So that is my answer. Cannabis.
Amara, what's one invention that you think would drastically improve the world but hasn't been invented yet?
I think so. I think something that could like a drug or something that can achieve you to have photographic memory or like any power that you want that's not supernatural, like not flying or invisibility. Like no, it's like something that you use every single day. Because I know every single one of y'all will want photographic memory to memorize every single thing you remember for either work, school, math, science, English. That would be so useful. And then you can ace every single test and be better than everyone else, unless everybody has photographic memory. But the drug will be very expensive though, so not everybody could get it. Only people who saved up or have money will get it.
Say what's your name? If you could design your future house, what features would it have to have?
For my futuristic house, I would like my house to have so if I would like it to have, if any animal came in like wounded or hurt, which could happen a lot, I would like it to have like a program where it wouldn't like the bird wouldn't die or like any animal wouldn't die. It would be treated. Yeah.
This will be our last question. Excuse me, what's your name? Yes, Talia. Well, Talia, if you had to change your name, what would you change it to? And we're going to give you a name. And that concludes our tabletop session.
Alright, thank you for that very entertaining and informative table topic session, Ms. Kennedy. I would now like to bring up our first evaluator, Celestia, to evaluate Benita's speech. Yes.
So I was Tim's evaluator for the speech, and I think he did a pretty good job connecting with the audience. So his speech was about fast food. He talked about the economic impacts and the health impacts. So a few facts that he said was $750 billion go into the fast food industry, and at least 1/3 of Americans have worked in fast food. Another thing he talked about was the health impacts, which was diabetes and obesity to overconsumption. And we talked about the instant immediate gratification of getting food or getting fast food. Like when you have money, you're hungry, you don't want to go home and cook food, you want to actually go out and eat some. His eye contact was good with the audience. He looked at everyone, he didn't look down on his notes all the time, and he had solid eye contact. His hand gestures were clean. He didn't really, I don't know, like direct it at one person. He looked around the audience, and I think he did a pretty good job.
Thank you for that, Abdul. I would now like to call on our general evaluator, Xavier, for the general evaluation of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Isaac. Next up, I would like to bring up our second evaluator, Ms. Anna, for a second speech.
Thank you, Xavier, for that introduction. Shrika, it is such an honor and pleasure to listen to your icebreaker speech. You have already having a great speaking ability. Your voice is clear and not too loud, but not too soft, just right volume. So you have these two basic things so you have a foundation to be a great future speaker. Your icebreaker is very logical. You had from childhood, then to the elementary school, 6th grade, 7th grade, now you in the NSTEP 8th grade. In that timeline, you can feel we were in your life. We were growing up with you. We can feel your struggles, your growth. So you really put at least me into your growth in your life. So I think that's wonderful. And I especially like you talk about your struggle during the 7th grade, but you give a hope at the end. In the 8th grade, you prevailed. You made it to the orchestra. You made it to the Algebra 1. So I like the speech that gives people hope, make the happy ending, because everybody has a struggle, but at the end it is the work you put in, and eventually you benefited, you achieved what you achieved. Sometimes we will not achieve what we want to achieve, but that's okay. The benefit is still you had that great experience. But in your speech, you achieved what you wanted to achieve. That's even greater. So I just really think that is a highlight of your icebreaker speech. Your eye contact is great. You had a moment of looking down on the floor because you're trying to put your thoughts together. That's understandable, but as soon as you gather your thoughts, you start to look around the room, connect with the audience. Your gesture is quite understandable. You flipped your nose a little bit a few times, probably because you are trying to get your thoughts together. But I like the idea that you have your notes so you can refer to it if you need to. So I think that definitely demonstrated a great character of being a great future public speaker, and I just want to hear more from you. Thank you very much for that wonderful icebreaker.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. Next up, I would like to call on our timer for the timers report, DTM Taylor.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. For the timers report, the first speech, I think it was Tim, but the speech title was Fast Food. He spoke for 7 minutes. And the second speech was an icebreaker speech. I believe the name was Shrika, but that was 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Then we got into the table topics. Table topics responses were, the first speech was a response for a baseball record. It was 1 minute, 30 seconds. The second was social media in the 1800s was about 25 seconds. And Michael came up addressing wall climbing, I believe. He spoke for 1 minute, 30 seconds. Then Eric followed with another speech on, don't make out my writing, but it was for 30 seconds. Then there was a speech on a response about a new holiday, naming a new holiday for 55 seconds. Isaac came in to tell us what the new crime should be. I think it was cannibalism. He said 35 seconds. Then Amara, I believe her speech was about inventions for 48 seconds. And then we had the final two were the a future house design. I didn't catch the person's name. It was for 50 seconds. And the last one was the house design, 50 seconds. And a final one that was, I couldn't make out, I couldn't hear it, but it was 20 seconds by the audience's applause. And then the two evaluations. The evaluations were, for the first speech was 53 seconds, and the second speech was 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. And now for the general evaluation of the meeting. We did start just a minute behind at 3:01, but after that we got right on the road and got through each part nice. We did our original timer was not there or had technical difficulties. So although we had to pause for a minute, it didn't encroach too much into our meeting. We were able to select our new timer very quickly and get back onto the meeting. Each part flowed nicely. And I just like to say it was an excellent meeting. Everything went well. We didn't have too many difficulties with anything. So with that, I would like to pass it back over to our president and Toastmaster of the day. Oh wait, I forgot to call him the grammarian. The grammarian for the grammarians report. Right.
Tim did 5 things and 5 things and 1 repeat and 1 word of the day. Miss Anna did 1 Shuka did 5, 7 O's. 10 Veronica did 3 O's. 2 likes. Sophie did 1 so 1 like. Aaron did 1 1 so. Eric did 1 Emma did 1 o. Isaac did 1 so. Amara did 1 so and 1 repeat. Nadia did 2 ums, 1 so. Miss Sarah did 1 2 ums, 1 so, and 2 repeats. Mr. Forrest did 1 1 2 repeats. Xavier 2 ums, 1 so.
Thank you, Grammy. Now, I would like to pass it back to our Toastmaster and President, Mr. Isaac.
Thank you for that evaluation, Mr. Xavier. Overall, great meeting today. I saw we had a lot more participation versus last week, which shows that you all feel more comfortable being here, coming out of your shell, and participating with us. I'm very excited about that, and I hope to see you all next week. I will now pass it on to the VP of Education,